Hello and welcome to the Danny Lowe Show. Today, we will go ahead and be reviewing the stakeholder analysis. So let me go ahead and share my screen for you all. I went ahead and drafted out something for you all to have. This is an Excel sheet that you usually use at the very beginning of a process, heavy on the define phase to really understand and gauge in what these stakeholders that we're working with are feeling for the new process. I'm going to go all the way from the left to the right. The stakeholder itself. This is an important document that needs to be assessed. It needs to have either the title of the individual or the actual name of the individual. For the purposes of this example, I just put general manager, assuming that the example is for a big manufacturing company. The role of that individual. The role itself is either going to be high, medium, or low. And as you can see here, we put high, right? We have that role function. This really gives us whether or not that stakeholder might have important to be documented in here, just because they might have a big say in the actual process that we're about to dive into. What is the influence of that individual, right? So going back to that stakeholder, is their influence in decision-making high, medium, or low? We can see here that as a general manager, the decision is strong, but it's not at the highest level. So we definitely put them as a medium. When we're looking at current position, I like to call these pulses. It's either you have a thumbs up with a plus, you're neutral with a 0, or you got negative feedback with the negative. Doesn't necessarily mean it's negative feedback. It just means that we need to work a little bit more with them to really understand if they have buy-in for the new thing that we're about to embark in. So for this specific individual, it looks like they have a little bit of bought-in. They understand, they're well aware of the project that we'll be working on. And then we transition over to the desire. You might be aware you have a good understanding, but do they have a desire? Because it's a general manager, they always want to make their life easier. So right here, we put the example of yes, they do have a desire. But when we're actually looking at the key issue, I'm able to really say here, and I'm putting here an example that this individual currently thinks that the process is fine. We don't really understand if they are convinced that a change is needed. So that might be one of the things that we need to work with this person. And how do we do that, right? And that really hits on the tactics, either increase or maintain support. And so we're just putting an individual named Kapil here, and we put that Kapil needs to be part of the planning meetings, reporting findings, and next steps in order to keep them engaged in the conversation. Who's responsible for all of these meetings and setting up that? It depends. Sometimes you might have a project manager, sometimes you might have a process engineer, sometimes you might have a change manager. In here, we put the change manager because it's a change that we're about to embark in. But sometimes in some industries, one person might service all of them. So it's really to your discretion. The method, frequency, and timing is how and when are we going to start doing that. So we understand that it's going to be meetings and communication from a method component. We understand that they're going to be bi-weekly, and we're going to go ahead and set them up as soon as we get done with this meeting per se. So this is the stakeholder analysis. You can add, deduct to it, but it really keeps a pulse check before starting a project. So that is the episode for today, and I hope you really enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day. Bye.